Hello, my friend. Welcome back to Richness Journey, the place where we grow not only richer in money, but also in wisdom, peace, and self-respect. If this is your first time here, welcome home. Here, we learn English through real stories about money, choices, and lessons that life teaches the hard way. Today, I want to tell you a story that in some way is about me. And maybe in some way it's about you too. I still remember the first time I lost money. It wasn't a lot, but it was enough to hurt. I had worked for months, saved carefully, and decided to try investing. I read a few posts, listened to some people who seemed confident, and thought, it can't be that hard. And then in just a few weeks, I watched my money disappear. I felt angry. I felt stupid. I told myself, maybe investing is just luck. Maybe I'm not made for this. But later, I learned the truth. It wasn't bad luck. It was bad learning. I didn't fail because the market was cruel. I failed because I didn't understand what I was doing. And that's what we're talking about today. Why you must learn investing properly. Because when you don't just lose money. You lose time, energy, confidence, sometimes even your dreams. But when you do learn it, really learn it, step by step, with structure, with respect, everything changes. You begin to see money differently. You stop gambling and start growing. You stop surviving and start building. So let's walk together, slowly, simply, through why learning to invest is not optional anymore. It is a form of respect. For yourself, for your future, and for the money that carries your effort, your sweat, and the love of your family. Let me tell you something I will never forget. An old man once told me, the money you hold, it's not just numbers. It's blood. If it's not your blood, it's from someone who loves you. So treat it like blood. That line changed the way I think about money forever. We often talk about risk and returns, but behind every dollar there's a story. A weekend you didn't rest, a dream you postponed, a moment you said no to yourself so you could save. That's why wasting money through ignorance is painful. Because it's not just losing cash. It's disrespecting your own effort. Learning to invest is how you show respect to that effort. It's how you protect what you earned. And more than that, it's how you give your future a chance. You see, money in itself is neutral. It doesn't care if you use it wisely or waste it. If you don't give it direction, it will leave you. If you don't learn how to guide it, someone else will, and not for your benefit. That's why education comes first. When you study investing, you start learning structure. You learn how to start, how to protect, and how to grow. And without that, you will always live by chance, not by choice. I've seen this story play out so many times. A person works for 10, 20 years. They save a small amount, finally decide to invest, and then lose it all in one bad move. Why? Because they followed someone's hot tip or a quick online post. They didn't understand what they were doing. They didn't study risk, diversification, or timing. And when they lost, it wasn't just numbers disappearing, it was years of effort. And you know what's worse? Sometimes it's not just their money they lose. It's their belief in themselves. They say, I'm not good with money. They stop trying. And slowly, they accept a smaller version of their life. That, to me, is the real tragedy. Because investing, when done properly, is not about greed. It's about freedom. It's about being able to choose, to live on your terms, to protect your family, to have peace. And the only way to reach that point is through learning, structured, patient, serious learning. Let's talk about the power of learning. When you learn investing properly, something magical happens. You stop reacting and start planning. You stop guessing and start understanding. You stop being scared of money and start building a relationship with it. You learn the language of value, how to read charts, how to study businesses, how to measure risk. You learn to see opportunities that others ignore. You begin to understand why markets move, why people panic, and how you can stay calm while others run. That's the real beauty of education. It gives you clarity. And clarity is stronger than luck. Because luck fades, but clarity stays. When you learn how to invest, you gain not just tools, but also character. You learn patience. You learn emotional control. You learn to think long-term. All of these skills help not only in money, but in life itself. You might ask, but why can't I just learn from experience? And I say, you can, but it's expensive. Experience will teach you, yes, but it will charge you heavy tuition. The market is a strict teacher. If you are not prepared, it will take your money and maybe your motivation too. That's why proper learning matters. It's the bridge between losing blindly and growing wisely. When you learn, you train your eyes to see patterns, your hands to hold steady, and your heart to stay calm when the market storms. You start to act from knowledge, not emotion. That's when you begin to truly earn, not just spend. Because if you don't learn, you will either not invest at all and lose years of opportunity, invest without direction and lose money, or invest wrongly and lose both. And all three are painful. Let's pause for a second and imagine something. Imagine that every dollar you earn is a seed. If you don't learn how to plant it, it may rot. If you plant it in bad soil, it may die. But if you learn how to care for it, how to choose the soil, the season, the water, it will grow into a tree. And one day, that tree will give shade not only to you, but to your children, and maybe to others too. That's what investing really is, planting wisely. And learning is your gardener's handbook. Without it, you're just throwing seeds into the wind. Now, let's go deeper into what learning investing actually gives you. It's not just knowledge. It's transformation. First, it helps you start. Many people never invest simply because they don't know how to begin. They're afraid of doing it wrong. But when you learn, fear turns into action. You make your first move carefully, confidently. And that's where real growth begins. Second, learning helps you increase efficiency. When you understand what you're doing, you avoid common traps. You stop chasing hot trends and instead build long-term value. You learn about compounding, how small, consistent steps create big results over time. That's how real wealth is built, not through quick wins, but through steady wisdom. Third, learning helps you protect your capital. Because the market is not always kind. Sometimes it rewards. Sometimes it tests you. When you're educated, you know when to move and when to wait. You don't panic when others do. You don't jump when others shout. You follow your plan. That's the difference between a gambler and an investor. Both use money, but only one uses knowledge. And here's something I've seen again and again. The people who respect learning are the ones who last. They survive crises, adapt to change, and come out stronger. Because they don't just depend on luck, they depend on logic. I've seen families lose their savings because they trusted someone's promise instead of studying the truth. I've seen people spend years working hard, only to lose everything in one bad investment. And each time I think, if only they had learned, if only they had respected money enough to understand it. Because every careless decision has a price. Sometimes that price is years of hard work. Sometimes it's the future of your children. Sometimes it's your peace of mind. Money lost can be earned again. That's what we tell ourselves. But in truth, it's never the same. You lose time. You lose energy. You lose youth. You can rebuild wealth, but you cannot rewind years. That's why education is not a cost. It's a shield. So, my friend, where do you begin? Start small. Start simple. Start today. You don't need to know everything. You just need to start learning one thing at a time. Read a small book. Watch a podcast. Take a course. Talk to people who understand money, not those who just talk about it. Study one topic each week: compounding, diversification, risk management, market psychology. Step by step, you will begin to understand the game. And the moment you do, you will stop being afraid of it. Because fear comes from ignorance, and confidence comes from understanding. When you learn investing, you're not just learning how to make money. You're learning how to think, how to plan, how to see the world differently. You stop being a passenger in the economy. You become a driver. And here's the final truth. Learning to invest is not about becoming rich quickly. It's about becoming free slowly. It's about building a life where money serves you, not controls you. So today, I want you to make a promise to yourself. Promise that you will respect your effort by learning how to protect it. Promise that you will not let ignorance waste what love and labor have built. Promise that you will keep learning, not just for wealth, but for wisdom. Because the moment you stop learning, you stop growing. And when you stop growing, you stop living fully. So, my friend, thank you for listening today. Thank you for being part of this journey, this richness journey, where we learn English, learn money, and learn life. If this story touched you, if it made you think a little deeper, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. Join our community of learners, dreamers, and builders. And if you want to support what we do, you can help by buying the book or the investing guide through the Shopee link below. Every small purchase helps us create more content, more stories, more lessons for you. Because here on Richness Journey, we don't just teach English. We teach you how to think, how to grow, how to build a richer life, inside and out. Remember this: money will come and go. Markets will rise and fall. But wisdom, once earned, stays with you forever. So keep learning, keep growing, and keep walking your richness journey. One step, one lesson, one investment at a time. Because your money is more than numbers. It's your story. And when you learn to honor that story, that's when true wealth begins.